19, bought properties, flipped them, and then record label,
Yeah.
and then the marketing agency.
Yeah, so the record label took off. We did a few records. Then I got picked up by
And
Capitol Records.
Was there anyone notable?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. Nobody that ever really got big. We had people on tours and things like that, smaller tours. But really, it was the groundwork to have that revenue coming into the record label so that then I could fund my own projects.
Got it.
So I recorded my own records, then got picked up by Capitol and toured around with them and had a lot of fun, so I'm told. And that was a lot of fun. And then we got into some legal issues with Capitol Records. A new A&R guy came in. We kind of got shelved.
What's A&R?
They're basically your manager inside of the label. So they're the people that set you up on tours, set you up on press events and things like that. So we got kind of put on a back burner. So there was lawsuits going on between my entertainment attorneys and whatnot. And at the time, Capitol said, come in and do some marketing with us. And that's how I got into marketing.
Got it.
And then I moved over to Paramount and did marketing
at that
there.
point, did you have a marketing background? I mean, you had the record label, so you didn't have any marketing experience.
School of Hard Knocks.
School of Hard Knocks. Okay,
That's it.
so you started the marketing agency directly after that?
Yeah.
And you said with the agency, I mean, you talking like Facebook marketing, or what kind of like marketing were you doing?
Yeah, so I was with Paramount, and we were losing a lot of our bus stops and billboard things to this new marketing medium called Google. And Facebook was just coming out at the time. And during the band days, I was heavy on the MySpace stuff.
Good old Tom.
Good old Tom. Right? So I learned how to do social outreach and things through MySpace, and then got into some of the bigger marketing stuff. But as we were losing these accounts to Google, I said, I've got to start looking into this new thing called SEO.
How were you losing to Google?
Just people were diverting their money into more internet-based marketing campaigns.
Got it.
And so that was something that I earmarked, and I said, I've got to look more into this. And then I got a phone call from the UFC out in Vegas, and they needed a music supervisor. So I became the music supervisor for the UFC for about a year, and they put me up in a house out there, and that was cool. But I was in charge of all the music for all the fighters and all their docuseries and things like that.
Yep.
And they told me, they said, you can license whatever music that you want for all the different fighters, just make sure it matches their target audience.
Huh, interesting.
So I said, are you sure we don't have any favorites? They said, it's entirely up to you. And I made sure. I asked them probably 10 different times. And so I went ahead and licensed all my own music. And it was the smartest thing I ever did. It's the only thing that it still makes me money from my music. And every quarter I get a healthy deposit. I've been like over 200 pay-per-view events. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. So then from there, that's when I got into the marketing. I came back from there, moved to Orange County. And I looked for a job working with a company that was partnered with Google, and that worked. Found out what not to do, and started my own company.
So what's not to do?
So, pitching a product that you don't have a plan to fulfill can get you into some hot water.
I mean, that's a lot of information marketing, right? It's
Sure.
Let me see if there's a market for this, and if there is, then I'll fulfill it.
Yeah.
So you're saying that was not the thing to do.
Well, if you're telling small and medium businesses that we're going to have you on the front page of Google within X amount of days, and you don't even have people lined up to do the work to get it done, I was the director of sales and marketing for that, or director of sales for that company, and I believed in everything that they told me to sell and pitch. So I did all these major training seminars, and I had everybody trained in, and it built a monster. But then I started looking behind the curtain, realizing that there was no fulfillment that was planning to be had.
I mean, the SEO industry is a really interesting industry.
Yeah.
Right? It seemed like they told you what you wanted to hear.
Yep.
I will get you on the front page, or I'll get you #1 in Google.
Right, which that's an impossible feat.
Well, right. If you know
Can't
how it
guarantee
works.
it.
If you know how it works, you can't guarantee it.
Right.
But that didn't stop the salespeople from promising that.
Nope.
So I want to touch on something here, though, because you were very heavily involved in marketing, and I learned direct response marketing later on. Actually, I think probably around the same time. So direct response marketing, you learn about this, and then you see everyone with marketing degrees. It's a very different perspective on marketing.
Oh, sure.
So you came from the background where you saw billboard marketing, which is the old school marketing, and then you learned direct response marketing. And I think this is really important for everyone that's trying to get wholesale deals right now. What's the difference between traditional marketing and direct response marketing?
Well, for me, at this stage in the game, I still use everything. I mean, I focus on billboards, I focus on TV, I focus on postcards and mailers, as well as all the digital marketing. So I don't know that there's really necessarily you should pick one or the other. I think that all mediums are really a necessity because, especially with wholesale.
But what if you're a small guy? I mean, you're a small guy. You can't start in billboards.
You can't, but you can get creative. There are ways. I've found ways to have TV ads run for $6,000 a month in micro markets.
Okay.
Those are ad campaigns, and those are audiences and methodologies that the big players, the nationwide players, aren't necessarily looking at.
Right.
So there's less competition in some of those little things, and you can get into very inexpensive campaigns with some of the cable networks where they can even target per household. So you and I live next door to each other. You're crushing it. I'm not. We're watching the same TV show. When it comes commercial time, you're seeing an ad for a BMW dealership. I'm seeing an ad for, sell my house for cash.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, your marketing really has to be focused on your target, unless you're doing brand development and brand awareness where you want everybody to know who you are. But for me, I just want the person that I'm targeting to think that I am the number one guy. If the next door neighbor doesn't know who I am, well, you're not my target, so I don't care.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you make sure that your target audience is seeing your marketing?
Well, again, finding out ways to get very, very specific, getting data. It's all in the data. And some of those cable companies, they're running your credit when you sign up for internet or for cable, so they know that. They definitely know if you're behind on your bill with them. And you can work out great deals where they can tell you these are the markets where we feel these people are distressed. These are the homes, these are the neighborhoods. And through that data, you can skew your entire marketing plan to be able to target those people. That's kind of a winning recipe. But that's for target marketing, and that's really for getting through to, say, sellers or agents even. If you're doing brand development and brand awareness, billboards and all of those things are great to build your brand and build your trust and your credibility.
Well, right. I think brand building, again, that kind of goes back to the traditional marketing, old school marketing.
Yes.
But, like you were doing the agency stuff for small businesses, right? I imagine were you doing SEO and PPC, or what was your focus?
Yeah, SEO, PPC. I mean, we were building websites. We did over 50,000 WordPress websites from 2009 until about 2019, 2020. And full stack app development. And, I moved away from SEO. SEO, depending on who you talk to, can get a negative rap, right? Because, again, you're pitching kind of a pie in the sky, hopeful idea, and you can't guarantee those things. So it's all based on the work you put in, and you can't necessarily measure the results. You can't guarantee the results. Right. Everything's measurable. But so that's why I started getting into and focusing more on digital assets, websites and apps and things like that. A deliverable product that you can definitely come to a finish line on.
So did you say that we can target people that are behind on their cable bills?
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge nugget.
Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.